Okay. Hey, how's it going? Good morning. I am coming to you live on Tuesday morning, my usual time to go live and offer Tuesday tips. But today I want to talk about this last weekend. I went to see Oprah Winfrey and at her 2020Vision tour in St. Paul, here in St. Paul. And so I wanted to talk about that because I had some concerns and I wanted to share those concerns with you. So let's get started. So first of all, I want to tell you a little bit about me in terms of Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey is my hero. She is someone who I admire and respect so much, and for lots of reasons. But I used to be, in high school, South Dakota girl, and also just like she did, dreamed of being Mary Tyler Moore, and I just really admired her. I admire the way that she moves in the world. I admire the way that she weaves her spirituality in her work. I admire her story. I admire how she gives back. I mean, she's my hero. And I don't know, I can't understate that. And so I was scrolling Facebook one day and she popped up and she was like, "I'm coming to St. Paul." And I was like, bloop, I'm buying. I had no idea when I purchased the tickets that the tour was underwritten or promoted by Weight Watchers. I had no idea of that. It wasn't until I think I got my ticket, which is right here, or maybe in some of the confirmation stuff, that I was like, oh, this is a Weight Watchers thing. And I was like, huh. So I just want to tell you that when I talk to you today, I'm talking to you through my lens. I'm talking to you through my belief system. I'm talking to you through my very long history of being in the wellness industry. So my first reaction was, huh. I felt funny about seemingly supporting Weight Watchers by attending this event. So I want to start by saying that I don't have any bad feelings about Weight Watchers per se. And what I mean by that is I feel as if I believe so strongly in body autonomy. I just think that body autonomy is so important. And so if you as a human being feel very strongly that you want to lose weight and participate in losing weight with Weight Watchers, that is your choice, because that is body autonomy. And so this isn't about that. And I don't want to take away from everyone's right to make choices about their beautiful body. So that's the first thing. I'm just going to go through the day with you and tell you about how things landed with me, and how just throughout the day, how things landed with me and why they landed with me. The first thing that landed with me was Oprah took us through a workbook, and it was very moving for me and affirming for me. And the reason why it was moving and affirming for me was because she was saying a lot of the stuff that I teach and that I've come to on my own and through my own journey, and that I teach in the Whole Woman Wellness Formula. And so for me, that was incredibly affirming, because she was saying things that resonated with my soul. And I was moved, and you can tell, like, I posted a picture of me. I couldn't stop leaking. I went by myself. This was an experience I wanted for myself. And to be in this huge space with 15,000 other people it was incredibly profound to be in this room with this much energy and to be with Oprah Winfrey. That was amazing. The first disconnect for me was we were going through this workbook and we were kind of taking like tallying up things. And at the end of it, you kind of had like a quotient. And in that quotient, it essentially said that you can, based on your score, illustrate a life in balance. Ironically, I just wrote a book I wrote a book of poetry last year about the illusion of balance. So that was the first disconnect for me, was my score said, yours is a life of balance. I just don't really believe in balance I just think it's an invitation. You can invite balance, but on the whole, I just think that balance in general is something that it's just like this moving target. And I'm not sure that necessarily that's how I would approach, and I would approach balance as an invitation, but to try to seek it and to try to make it happen often results in kind of difficulty. So that was the first thing. Okay, so the first half of the day, Oprah took us through this workbook, and then we had another speaker come in that talked about transformation, and she was super cool. And then we took a break. We went to get lunch, and the lunches were box lunches provided by Panera. It was kind of a cluster, but no worries. Everybody was happy and excited to be there. There was a lot of positive energy. So I go and I get my lunch, and I come back to my seat because there's nowhere to eat in the Excel Energy Center. So I just went back to my seat to eat. So I crack open my lunch and I start eating my lunch, and then I look up because there's 3 big screens above the stage, and then there's like a screen above each section to look at what's going on the screen. And during my entire lunch, I was treated to before and after pictures of success stories of people around the country who had lost a lot of weight, different ages, all over different, but the whole time I was eating my lunch, the constant the images that I was receiving were names and faces and before and after pictures. The whole second half of the day after lunch was, now of course, and this is their tour, it was pretty much all Weight Watchers until the last hour when Oprah kind of wrapped things up. Okay. As I'm sitting there, I can feel in my body, and I'm uncomfortable talking about this. I'm uncomfortable talking about this because it started to rub up against everything that I teach and everything that I do in the world. It started to kind of come up in my body for the whole afternoon. So the first thing that really landed and really jarred me were this barrage of before and after pictures. I think that I will get back to that in a minute. And I'm just going to keep going with the things that landed in my body and try to explain why they landed in my body negatively. One of the things that happened in the afternoon was they brought someone up on stage who's a local person who comes from Minneapolis and has lost a great deal of weight. And they brought her up on stage, and very much, it was looking at her and kind of doing a 360, like turn around and, oh, you look amazing. And the words that were being used were that she was a success story, and she was an inspiration, that anything was possible. That landed with me, and I'm watching this and I'm looking around at people. And there were people sitting next to me when everybody started clapping for this young lady, and they weren't clapping. And I thought to myself, huh, interesting. How is this landing with other people? I can't speak to anybody else. I can only speak to myself. But here's this young woman on stage, and they're having her turn around and spin around, and doesn't she look beautiful? Okay. The next thing that landed with me was that they brought Tina Fey up on stage and to do an interview. It was very, very Oprah, like there was 2 chairs and everyone was very excited to have Tina Fey there. I did not know that Tina Fey was a lifelong Weight Watchers participant. And the messaging, there was 2 hot things that I wanted to share about the messaging that took place in the exchanges with Oprah Winfrey and Tina Fey. The first thing was that Tina Fey said that her success, her invitation to join Saturday Night Live on television, from bring her forward from being a writer and on to television, came because she lost weight. The second thing that they said, and this was between Oprah and Tina Fey, was that they said that Tina Fey and, oh my goodness, I lost her really quick. I lost her. I didn't mean to lose her, but I did. I lost her. But Tina Fey is going to be co-hosting the Golden Globes. Oh my gosh. If you know when you were there, let me know who she's co-hosting with, because my brain just locked up. She's going to be co-hosting the Golden Globes next year. And there was an exchange where Oprah asked her, are you tracking now? Now, I am not from Weight Watchers. I'm assuming what that means is tracking what you're eating now, and I'm paying attention to what you're eating. And Tina said, no, I'm not currently tracking. But then they started talking about the Golden Globes. Amy Poehler, thank you very much. And what Tina Fey and Oprah kind of chuckled about was, Tina Fey said, oh, I'm definitely going to be tracking before the Golden Globes. Okay. So here is where I'm going to try to explain to you why these things landed, and there was a cognitive dissonance for me. The whole first half of the day was Weight Watchers trying to put themselves forth as a company that cares about well-rounded wellness. And Oprah's messaging was all around, I wanted to get off of the yo-yo of up and down dieting. But then the message that came later was, for example, from Tina Fey about how she would definitely be tracking before the Golden Globes. That's yo-yo dieting. If you're tracking here and you're tracking there, if you're not living, right? If you're not living, but you choose to track to lose weight, that's dieting. That is dieting. So as much as Weight Watchers is cloaking themselves in wellness and trying to get away from positioning themselves as a company that is not we're not a dieting company. That's not true. That is not true. That is not true. And it was proven by how they verbalized things later and the before and after pictures that we were treated to while we're eating our lunch. I want you to know that who I am and where I am in the world, that any time an organization perpetuates diet culture, I will have an issue with that. Because diet culture has caused more self-loathing. It has caused more disordered eating. And it is a culture that is based and steeped in white supremacy and in patriarchy. Anytime that there is a culture that tells you that you are not, in some way broken or in some way need fixing, especially around fat is bad and thin is good, fat is unhealthy, thin is healthy, I'm going to have some serious issues with it. So they brought forth the CEO who has rebranded Weight Watchers. They have brought her forward in the afternoon. And she came on and they kind of did the whole history of Weight Watchers and how I think it was like in 1957 it started in the basement of the creator's home and how it grew from there. I just really want to be very clear that you can add things into a company and expand things and approach in your company to include fruits and vegetables, to include whole food eating, to include movement, to include mindfulness. But at the heart of that company, make no doubt, is diet culture. It is all veiled under this new branding, this new illusion of wellness. It's cloaked. It's in the closet. But that's what it is. I want to remind you that it is your body. And you get to make choices about your body because it's your body. And so if you want to participate in Weight Watchers, knock yourself out, it is your body, but go in knowing and what it really is. And also I invite you to consider the reason why you were doing it. And to consider deep self-love being the place to start versus deep self-loathing. That you can do it for deep intrinsic reasons versus because of extrinsic reasons. The essence of you is a gift. And I don't want anyone to ever tell you any differently. And I want you to know that there are other ways for you to learn how to care for your beautiful machine that is housing your gorgeous spirit. And it doesn't have to come in the package that they tell you that it has to be in. Okay, I'm going to end now. This is probably one of the longest Tuesday tips I've ever done. If you want to talk more, I would love to talk about this. So I'm going to put in the comments. If you want to schedule and we can talk about it, great. You're amazing. You're a gift. Talk to you soon. See ya.